it's me. I am back. I apologize for the messy room behind me. I apologize for this being posted so late. I'm actually in finals week for school. This is my last week of school for the semester. All my classes end tomorrow, Friday at midnight. Luckily, I actually just 5 minutes before this finished doing all my classwork, so I'm officially done with all my classwork. I'm just waiting on grades, so I'm sorry this is late, but hey, it's the day before the finale. Woohoo! I am sorry about last week. I thought I was doing good. I did not know I'm only able to do 30 minutes at a time on my phone. I don't know if I need to get a bigger memory card or what, but this is literally like, I have another phone that has like my stuff for Sotar in it, and I use that. Not as great quality, but it worked in a pinch. It just means I have to go back and get some video editing software. I had Windows Movie Maker on my old laptop, and it vanished, so I gotta figure out, I gotta add that or do something over Christmas break, which I have 2 weeks off, so I'm super excited! I'm also excited because before I jump into my recap of Chapter 15, The Believer, we had Disney Investor Days, and I don't think this is something they ever have done before, but they live streamed the event online, which meant anybody could go watch it. So I was in the middle of doing a couple big projects, and I actually watched Disney Investor Days. First time ever I've done that. I was really, really excited. And that's why I have no trailer reactions, because I was watching that, and honestly, I did not expect to see as much as I did. They showed trailers for, if you're a Marvel fan, they did the trailers for a second one for WandaVision, the first one for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki. They did a sizzle reel for Miss Marvel, which looks amazing. All the shows look amazing. I was so excited about those. But before that, they announced all the Star Wars stuff, and it was so cool to hear that we are getting at least 2 feature films, one by Taika Waititi. I can never say his name. He's doing a Star Wars movie. But before that, Kathy Jenkins, I think is her name, the woman who does the Wonder Woman movies, she will be having her Star Wars feature film come out in December of 2023 entitled Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Oh my gosh, I flipped my lid when I heard it. I ran to tell my brother because he loves the Rogue Squadron books. He loves Rogue Squadron, so I went to tell him. So we are excited for that to come out in 2023. I cannot wait to see what it looks like. Kind of sad though, because I don't think Wedge Antilles will be in it. But it'll be fun to see. It'll be interesting. They also announced all these no-sos, like A Droid's Tale, Star Wars Legends, an anime anthology is coming out. They showed a trailer for Bad Batch, which is the new animated series, which I am super excited about. And for those of you who like the character Fennec from Mandalorian, big news, Ming-Na Wen herself has confirmed that the mysterious figure in the Bad Batch trailer, if you've seen it, that looks like Fennec, that is Fennec. Fennec is going to be in Bad Batch, and even bigger news, will be voiced by Ming-Na Wen herself. So huge news, confirmed by the actress. Her character Fennec is in Bad Batch, and she will be voicing the character. So super excited for Bad Batch. It looks really amazing. That same edgy darkness, same maturity level. Like I said, I cannot wait. They did not give a release date for Bad Batch. Like, they didn't really give a release. The only really kind of release dates was we got one for Rogue Squadron. And then they gave a release date for The Mandalorian Season 3, which is kind of like, ugh. But nothing else was really given a release date. But I'm thinking Bad Batch will be late next year because they already had footage for a trailer, which is kind of amazing. They announced the next season of The Mandalorian Season 3, and they're already talking about doing a 4th season, apparently. Mandalorian Season 3 will be debuting Christmas of 2021, so it ends tomorrow, and we won't get anything related to The Mandalorian until Christmas. But if you liked The Gallery like I did, they will start airing Disney The Gallery The Mandalorian on December 25th. So Merry Christmas, all my Mandalorian fans! We get the behind-the-scenes series on Christmas Day, which will be so awesome. So Mandalorian Season 3 is not coming out till next Christmas. They did announce Kenobi starts filming in March of next year, and Hayden Christensen is coming back to be Vader in the Kenobi series. Ah! So awesome and amazing. But the bigger news is the one about The Mandalorian. Not just this new Season 3 air date, but the fact that we are getting not 1, but 2 spin-offs from The Mandalorian. The first one is called, I think, Rangers of the New Republic. Just based on the title, I think it's going to be very kind of Old West style. The Rangers, we've kind of seen a bit of them in this season. They're the New Republic officers, like policemen, who are traveling around the Outer Rim to these various planets that are kind of further away from the core and kind of serving as the law and justice. And they give Cara Dune the Marshal Badge. So I'm really expecting it to be kind of very old Western, you know, with the gunslinger going from town to town, taking out the bad guy and saving the day. That is what I'm thinking it's going to be set up as. Do I want Cara Dune to be in the series? Cara Dune, yes. I like the character Cara Dune. The actress, not so much. So I will be fine if Cara Dune is in the series if the actress apologizes for what she said, for some of the stuff she's done. But if the actress doesn't do that, then I really don't think she should be rewarded with continuing to portray Cara Dune on another show. Like I said, I can separate the character from the actress, but I've already seen something about one actor who did something and he got fired. So I'm trying to figure out why she hasn't got fired. I mean, actors have come out lately making really questionable decisions and statements. And while you can always separate the character from the actor like I do, sometimes it's really hard to justify why they should be able to continue it. Like I said, I love the character Cara Dune. I do not like the actress who portrays her. And I'm kind of finding it hard to say I want Cara to be in this TV show, the show Rangers of the New Republic. But I feel like if they do that, they're rewarding this actress for bad behavior. So it's kind of, I like Cara Dune. I don't like the actress. I can separate the two, but giving her that show just feels like they're rewarding her. However, I am excited to see Rangers of the New Republic. I think it will be interesting to see this Old West take, since Star Wars is kind of Old West to begin with, especially The Mandalorian is so Western. But the one spinoff that had me absolutely freaking out, I screamed so loud that I think this was the point where my brother had to reassure one of his friends over chat that I was not being murdered. Ahsoka's getting her own series! Oh my gosh, you guys! I'm sorry, that was loud. It's so exciting. Okay, here's the rundown. The Ahsoka series is not going to be a series like The Mandalorian. It's going to be a limited event series like Kenobi. So it's going to be only one season for like 5 or 6 episodes. It's not going to be a full-on series. Going to be limited run. That being said, I am super excited. Rosario Dawson is going to be Ahsoka. It's Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau helmed, so you know with Dave Filoni it's going to be amazing because Ahsoka is his creation. She's his baby. And he did such an amazing job with the Jedi. I am super, super excited. They didn't really say a lot other than the fact it's limited run, but I can already kind of have a couple of hypotheses. After the Jedi, that episode, like everybody said that episode was setting off for an Ahsoka spinoff. And the fact that there have been rumors about a Rebels sequel, this could be it. Not a Rebels sequel per se, but kind of answering that question. Because in the Jedi, Ahsoka reveals that she is looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn. And it's also been revealed that the ending scene of the series finale of Rebels takes place after the Jedi. So Ahsoka is meeting with Sabine after the Jedi in The Mandalorian. So that could be setting up for that series where Ahsoka and Sabine are searching for Ezra, who was with Grand Admiral Thrawn. So I'm super excited. They did not say, like I said, they did not have anything, like I did not have any other release dates. The only release dates they handed out were Mandalorian and Rogue Squadron and nothing else. And they gave the production start dates of Kenobi. They did, Andor. They did do a release date for Andor. Andor is set to premiere in March of 2022. That is the series about Cassian Andor. So that's the Rogue One prequel. So that was it. So other than getting that, they didn't really spell a lot of information, but we did get a sizzle reel for Andor, and we did get a trailer for Bad Batch. So that was really nice and fun. Okay, enough about Investor Days. Let's talk about Chapter 15 of The Mandalorian. This was a very interesting episode. I'm not going to say it was one of the best episodes. It's definitely above The Passenger. I think The Passenger, I like all the episodes. This is what's so hard. All the episodes this season have been amazing. The Passenger is my least favorite simply because of the spiders. And the Marshal is before that in terms simply because I did not like seeing, I could go my whole life and not need to see a crate dragon vomit. That was pure gross factor. The Believer is above them. It's not my least favorite. It's not my favorite. It's kind of in the middle. Did it feel like a filler? I can't say it did. I mean, it honestly, it kind of could have felt like a filler, but it didn't because I think they kept it interesting enough that even though with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau there was no such thing as a filler, you still get a filler feeling from some of these episodes, like The Passenger. But you didn't get that with The Believer because they just kept it interesting enough for it not to really be a filler episode. So The Believer is coming off of the hills of the tragedy, and at the end of the tragedy, we see Din go to Kara and ask for her help breaking Mayfield out of prison. Mayfield is a former Imperial sniper. We don't know if he's former simply because of the end of the rebellion or what happened. Oh my gosh, what did my computer do? Okay. So we don't know what happened. So they go and get Mayfield, and what's interesting is the prisoner planet Mayfield on kind of reminds me of Wobani from Rogue One, which is where Jyn Erso was. It kind of feels like that. They're digging through scrap and stuff like that. So they get Mayfield and they say, hey, we need you. You're former Imperial. You're able to access terminals and stuff. And Mayfield's like, okay, whatever. Accompanying Din is Cara Dune, of course, because she's a marshal and she's serving the New Republic. And she's able to get Mayfield out working around laws and loopholes. Working within the law to break the law. And also with them is, of course, Fennec and Boba. I keep wanting to call Boba Fett Jango, but I think that's because it's the actor who played Jango. And I'm so used to seeing Boba Fett with either the actor who played him as a child or in the original, so it's so hard. I just see him and I go, oh, Jango, no, Boba. So it's kind of hard because in my head I'm like, oh, Jango, no, Boba. So it's really, I try very hard. So they get to this planet called, I had like the episode notes so I don't forget anything, called Morak. And there they learn that the Imperial, it's an old mining station, the Imperials are mining rhydonium, which is highly explosive. Now, in order to get in, they have to pass a screening. Unfortunately, Cara, Fennec, and Boba can't do it because they're on file with the ISB. So, by process of elimination, that means Mayfield and Dean, you're up. Which leads into one of the weirdest things this season. Din, without his Beskar, in order to sneak in, he has to don the armor of a stormtrooper. It was really, really weird, including the helmet. It was very weird seeing him without his Beskar. I've gotten so used to seeing it. That's what I think of when I think of the Mandalorian, is this towering figure in Beskar. And it was so weird to see him in the armor of a stormtrooper. So they get on the transport and so they hijack a transport, take it to the mining center, and along the way they run into like pirates or rebels who have been blowing up rhydonium. And they're able to evade them to make sure, and they get the rhydonium there safely. But during this trip, Mayfield gets into like this kind of deep philosophical discussion with the Mandalorian, because obviously Din has taken off his helmet, but he's wearing a different one. And Din raises this point about how closely do you follow a creed, because he's questioning, I thought it was you never take off your helmet. Well, you took off your helmet, so does that mean it's never reveal your face? Which is what I'm going with. The creed is don't reveal your face to other living beings. So he's questioning this, and then he points out that, hey, when the time comes, you'll find yourself compromising your beliefs in order to do what you feel is right. Even though Mando's like, no. And Mayfield's like, you're kind of doing it now. You're not wearing your Beskar. You put on stormtrooper armor. You're kind of already compromising your beliefs to get Grogu back. So that was kind of this very deep discussion. They get to, like I said, they fight out the pirates. They get to the refinery. They're met with applause. Everybody's happy. And they go to the officer's mess, and Mayfield's like, I can't do it. There's an officer in there I know. Din says, I'll do it, takes the data stick, goes in, and here's what's interesting. He has to take off his helmet because Mayfield reveals in order to access the data, it does a face scan. Can't do that with the helmet on. So this is the second time in this series we've seen him take the helmet all the way off. Earlier, a couple episodes ago, he did this with the helmet to push it up so he could drink some soup. But this is only the second time we've seen his face, and this time he's revealing it in front of actual people. Last time it was in front of IG-11. So, I think it was IG-11. It was an IG droid. So that's really interesting. It really shows that Mayfield was right. Given no choice, Din will compromise his belief as a child of the Watch in order to save Grogu. They nearly get caught. The officer comes in and says, what's going on? And Mayfield steps into the rescue. I love the fact that he calls Din Old Brown Eyes, but to be fair, he doesn't know Din. I don't think he knows Din's name. I think it's always been the Mandalorian. So I don't think too many people know his name. I think Greef, Karga, and Cara, and Grogu, and IG knew his name. I don't think anybody else has really known his name outside of his covert. this officer is so happy that they're there, that they made it safely, that he invites them to sit down and have a drink with him. And this was the second interesting conversation of the episode, which is why I said it can't really feel like filler. The officer makes a point as he's talking about the Empire, which Mayfield says, we should toast to Operation Cinder. Pause. If you don't know what Operation Cinder is, don't watch the rest of this video because I'm going to spoil it for you. All right, here comes the spoiling. Operation Cinder is part of Star Wars Battlefront 2 Inferno Squadron. It is basically this massive military operation that was last-ditch done by the Emperor to be carried out upon his death. Basically, what it was a bunch of satellites would be taken to planets that had been totally loyal to Emperor Palpatine in the Empire during his reign. Once there, these satellites would be set in place and just rain complete and total devastation on a planet, wiping people out and making it virtually impossible to live there. Among them, people that were being wiped out were not just civilians, but loyal members of the Imperial military. This is what causes the lead character in Star Wars Battlefront 2 Inferno Squadron, Iden Versio, and her best friend / future husband Dal, to turn their back on the Emperor and the Empire and defect to the rebels because of the actions taken by the Empire. At this point, we are no longer seeing the regular old Imperial foot soldiers or officers. The Imperials we are seeing here are 100% loyal until death to the Empire. This is the seeds of the First Order right here. And Mayfield says Operation Cinder, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because through this episode I've gotten the sense that Mayfield is not proud of being an Imperial. He's not. Operation Cinder is the reason. He explains that as part of Operation Cinder, he witnessed the death of his friends and squad mates. Like, he witnessed the death of all the people he cared about that he served with because of Operation Cinder. And the guy pulling the strings is that officer they're having drink with. Mayfield is mad. Finally, he can't take it anymore. He shoots the guy. The guy who sat there and said that no matter what, people are always going to want to return to order. That is the same comment Leia makes in the opening chapters of The Force Awakens novelization, where she said what the Republic failed to realize is the large number of the population who just want to be told what to do. That's what that officer points out. Mayfield gets mad. Mayfield shoots him, and Din is staring at him like, oh my god, what the hell did you just do? I just love Pedro Pascal as an actor. He's so good at using his features, his face, to convey emotions, even with the helmet on, so I'm loving him. Mayfield hands him the Stormtrooper helmet, says, I never saw your face, which tells a lot about Mayfield's character. The two, since they shot the officer, start a firefight, which thankfully they had Fennec and Kara outside, acting as sniper. It was so cool seeing girl power! And of course you have Boba and Slave One. Awesome. Seismic charges. No, wait, was that the other episode? I don't remember. They're so cool. But it was so cool seeing them work together to get out. And the pista de resistance, they make it onto Slave One. And Mayfield looks at Kara and says, hand me the rifle. She hands him a sniper rifle. He takes aim at some rhydonium, shoots it, blows up the mining facility. Then turns to Kara, who's been having issues with him because he's a former Imperial, and looks at her and says, we all do what we gotta do to sleep at night. So clearly that told me in that moment, and in that moment where Mayfield shot the officer, Mayfield is kind of almost ashamed at himself for the actions he carried out as a member of the Imperial military. It's a dark part of his past. He doesn't want to think about it. So on that mention of Operation Cinder makes me think he's a lot like Iden Versio, only she left and went to the Rebels and became a part of the Rebel Alliance and finally taking down the Empire, and he just became a bounty, like a gun for hire, a mercenary. But he too turned his back on the Empire, which explains why he talks about you'll compromise your ideals. He compromised his beliefs because he turned his back on the very system he believed in. Which brings me to, I know I'm rambling, but it kind of brings me back to the title of this episode. The episode is called The Believer, but it's never really made clear just who the believer in this scenario is. Is it Mayfield, the jaded believer? Is it the officer who believes in what they're doing and says it's the only way, it's the right way? Or is it Din, who really truly believes in the creed that he's been taught, but is now starting to think a little bit and wonder if maybe the creed isn't the end all that he was taught it was? So it's never really clear who the believer is, but I think that's because in this episode we see 3 different types of believers, and it's really up to us to figure out who the believer is in this episode. I think the believer could refer to either or in both Din and Mayfeld because of the 2 different how they function with their belief, with Mayfeld being like that jaded believer and Din being that wholehearted, truly believes in what he's doing, but is starting to wonder if maybe exceptions can be made. Like I said, all in all, it was a really great episode. It's really in the middle for me. I think it comes, I want to say I'm going to have it above Marshall. Like I said, my 2 least favorite episodes this season are The Passenger and The Marshal, which is kind of weird because they were both really, really good. But like I said, it's so hard to pick a least favorite. I think the next one is going to be Believer. And this is one where I'm probably going to make people mad. The Siege, The Tragedy, The Heiress, and The Jedi. Those are my top. Those are my 7. That's my ranking for him this season. So yeah, all in all, it was a good, solid episode. Definitely leading into the season finale, especially since we have that any moment where Din contacts Moff Gideon because they were able to get that information, and he basically recites what Gideon told him in Redemption from season 1, where he's like, "You have something I want." Only Din changes it so he refers to Grogu as he, as a living being, and not like this possession, this item that needs to be coveted and seized like Gideon does. So it's really setting us up for the season finale. I'm kind of nervous about the season finale. I have a feeling it's going to end on a cliffhanger. I don't want it to end on a cliffhanger. I want Grogu back with Din, safe and sound. I want to know if Grogu did manage to reach out to a Jedi or in who it is. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens tomorrow in the season finale. And I'll be able to talk to you guys hopefully next week about it. So tell me what you guys think down below in the comments. What do you think about the new Star Wars news coming on in the Investor Days? What are your thoughts about the Believer? Who do you think the Believer was? Did you think it was a filler type episode, or was it a great lead into the season finale? And what are your thoughts on the season finale? Thank you guys so much for watching, so much for putting up with my janky media, and I will talk to you guys later. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy. I'm sending you all lots of love, hugs, and prayers, and may the Force be with you, because this is the way. Bye, everybody.